Hello, folks. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo, night show 1376. I'm your host, JohnnyHellcat, and with us are minions Sanguine,
Good evening, all.
Delahazed,
Yo and hello.
Terry Diamantis,
Hey everyone.
and Traveling Exhibit, the Hate Camel.
Good evening.
And we were just talking about an episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Oh, wait, no, Flash.
Might as well be the same thing.
I think the victims get away better than the timeline did.
I don't even remember what episode that was I stopped at. I don't know how many I have left to go. But I guess, Della, you watched the whole thing?
Yeah, that's why I told you not to watch any of it.
Okay, so like if we're going like the power meter or whatever, like how far am I in the season? I made it to the kids singing at the wedding. I was like, nope.
Oh, you're almost done if you're not done.
Almost.
If not, then yeah, because like there's just the final battle with the final boss coming up, and then that's it.
Who is the big bad on this season?
Godspeed. Yeah. August Hart.
Well, that's not.
And just to confirm, how is anyone with spoilers? So I know, because I don't know exactly where you are, but I
stopped at 4.
I stopped caring at like midway through season 3. I've just been chugging along because it's fun to hate on stuff every now and then.
Okay, just gotta be sure.
I haven't seen any of it, but I also don't want to, so spoil away.
Yeah,
Just
I've
gotta
just
be
done
sure.
the second half for that shit. It seemed like it was going to be a train wreck, and it is.
Oh, I knew it was. Amazingly, I didn't know I didn't know I should expect this much. I expected a fair bit, but this was. And the most annoying thing that pisses me off the most. I'm not a big nerd when it comes to the fucking comics and the original stories and whatnot, but Bart is Barry's grandson, not his son. Yes, he has twins. There's a timeline for that, but not Bart being one of them. Impulse is from a future timeline where he's the grandson of the Flash, not the fucking son. You goddamn morons.
But who needs continuity or free will or anything like that when it comes to comic book based things?
Oh man, it's such fucking. And then of course, Godspeed just happens to be Bart's Bart Dong. Gee, couldn't come up with anything original.
I just thought it was interesting. Like I seen like every episode up to where I stopped in season 7.
Yeah,
there wasn't hardly any action, any fighting. It was all talking.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Like he manages to talk as abracadabra into with what kind of bomb did he have again? What was it? Something ridiculous. An antimatter bomb.
Yeah.
He manages to talk him down from blowing up Central City with an antimatter bomb, and then dude just gets killed by like a She-Hulk wannabe. Yeah.
Oh, that fucking strength for that whole fucking New Forces saga, mini saga was just fucking retarded. You recreated the Speed Force, and it somehow created 5 different forces at once. How the fuck is it not that were never there to begin with? How the hell does that fucking happen or make sense? And then of course they all become family because Barry and Iris are mom and dad for them.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of ladies on the writing staff for the Flash that have ticking clocks, and that's what this past couple seasons have been to me.
Oh man! All right,
Is it just me, or anytime when you guys hear ticking clock, do you get the cousin Vinny? My time clock is ticking like bam, bam, bam.
I have not seen that movie in so long. I always got hung up on the 2 Utes. The what?
Yep.
the 2 Utes.
Yeah, the 2 Utes and my time clock is ticking like, and then she just starts stomping.
The other line I was like, everything that guy just said was bullshit. But yeah, it's one of those I have to go back and watch that at some point. I haven't seen it in forever. It's a good one. I don't know if it was good enough for Marissa Tomei to get an Academy Award for it, but it was a good movie.
The clips I've seen are good, so it's something that if I got the chance to watch it, I would, but I don't want to like get Netflix or anything just to watch it. So
I mean, yeah.
One of these days, Johnny and I need to actually figure out how to do a watch party and start doing some of these movies like Smoke Signals and My Cousin Vinny and whatnot.
You've at least seen Gross Point Blank, haven't you, Terry?
yes, I have.
Oh, good. So I was in the Gulf, last year doing this thing.
So, what did you do for a living? Well, you see, I dropped out of school, I joined the military, I took this test, I found out I have flexible morals, so I got moved over to a special sort of unit, and then I went freelance. So I've been an assassin for hire for the past few years. Oh, okay.
Does that come with dental?
And everyone just thinks that he's bullshitting until his best friend sees him murder someone. And his
that's how
reaction is, help me carry this body. Okay.
And that's how you know you have a friend, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of my high school friends, if I showed up, like with a dead body, it's like, hey, man, help me move this. I don't know how many of them be like, yeah, sure, no problem, dude.
Oh, let me get that door for you.
He's the best friend from goddamn anything.
Hadn't seen him in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like, yeah, dude, exactly. No sweat, man.
Hadn't seen him in 20 years, sees him murder someone in front of him, and his response is, here, let me tear down this banner. We can roll him up in that, haul him down to the incinerator. He'll be good to go.
I mean, I'm not saying I would balk at the proposition, but I would definitely have questions after 20 years,
Yeah. And then the only comment made about it afterwards was, so, what have you been doing all these years? Just as I know that you told me the truth before, but I didn't believe you. Now I believe you. Tell me it again.
Oh, sorry, Assassin, correct me. 10-year high school reunion. Well, let's be honest. John Cusack looked way older than 10 years. there's no way he's pulling off 28 in that movie. I'm sorry.
How old is he now?
Ages. You have to remember he went to Hollywood High School, so his character was probably like 35 when he was going through that school. I mean, look at all of high school movies from that time frame.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no way that.
Youngest.
Yeah, there's no way you're convincing me that John Cusack and Jeremy Piven were only 10 years out of high school.
Yep.
I mean, maybe if they got held back like 3-4 times. Yeah.
Let's see. That movie came out in 97.
Yeah, the good old 90s.
And John Cusack, who looks like he's 70.
Oh, yeah. Time has not been kind to that man.
Was born in 66.
Okay.
So he's 60.
I mean, yeah, okay. He would have been. He'd have been a few years past 10 year,
Yeah, like I said, it's the Hollywood movie high schools. You don't have a single student in those most of the time that are younger than the age of 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it like Footloose? Like Kevin Bacon's like what 24 or something like that?
Yep.
Or am I thinking of Ferris Bueller with Matthew Broderick? They were both in their 20s somethings.
Well, to be fair, Matthew Broderick at least has an insanely monotonous face.
Yeah. I mean, he looks old now, but that's mainly due to the.
He is old.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, time does that to you.
Well, no, I was going to say, like, you wouldn't have to age him down too much with the CGI, though, just because of the shape of his face.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He has this insanely childlike face. So you can kind of buy when he's playing someone much younger than he is.
Holy shit, he is 4 years older than John Cusack.
And if you had put him in Gross Point Blank, I would have believed it was 10 years.
Shit, if you would have put him in Gross Point Blank at that point, I would have believed it was like the 2-year anniversary.
I left school 2 years ago and became a murderer.
Yeah. The part that I would have had a hard time believing is that he became a murderer.
In 2 years.
No,
A highly skilled murderer in 2 years.
I would have a hard time believing that he became a murderer in general.
Well, the idea that either Dan Aykroyd or John Cusack were highly skilled murderers was kind of iffy in that movie too. But you just went with it for the comedy.
One of the things I heard was that O.J. Simpson was supposed to get, I think, like the role
the
of
Terminator.
or something. Yeah, but they rejected him because they didn't think he could look like someone who could kill.
Yeah, that was a meme back in the day. I don't think that's legit.
Well, it's real to me, Cameron.
Well, I mean, hey.
That's all that matters, buddy.
The thing that pisses me off the most about that, yeah, it was fucked up, his crime. I had no connection to them. I didn't know any of them. But because of that, Naked Gun just died.
Yep, true.
I mean, I can
And
still watch it, but
Yeah, I can watch
The impact
it.
is
I'm
gone.
not saying that it destroyed the movies in any stretch of the imagination. I'm saying that it made it so that no further Naked Gun movies would be made.
Yes.
Because you can't do that movie without OJ's character.
No, you really can't.
you can replace him with any different actor.
It would have just been wrong. It's like having the Giant suddenly no longer be part of that movie series. It wouldn't work.
The other one that everyone thinks is related to a celebrity crime but isn't is Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Everyone thinks that everyone thinks they stopped using Mike Tyson's Punch Out and just changed it to Punch Out because of the whole rape thing. But it was actually because he lost the title. Like, he wasn't the champion anymore when it came to renew his contract. It's like, well, why would we?
Yep.
Yeah, they cut that faster.
I mean, I'm sure the rape charges didn't help, but it was like, well, you're not the champion. We want the champion's name attached to our product, so we'll just go with Punch Out. We don't need you anymore.
Oh man, it was a Hassan still trending. People are really surprised by that. Okay.
I don't get why people are surprised that. Oh, did we say it after the show started?
No.
Why? So
Because people
fill
are
everyone in.
stupid.
Yeah, for context.
Oh, if you guys aren't aware on the Twitters, Hassan is trending because apparently Hassan Piker bought a $2.7 million house.
See, I still think he should change his last name to Chop.
The Sun Chop.
Nice.
Yes.
That would be so hilarious.
I mean, it'd be funnier than anything he's done so far.
I don't get how people keep on being surprised when a socialist becomes ridiculously wealthy and then just starts buying insanely expensive properties.
I think most people aren't really surprised that, you know, him being a socialist, he's managed to amass this wealth. I think it's the sheer mediocrity. I mean, I remember Hassan from back when he got started on TYT, and that was just like, oh, you could smell the nepotism right away. It's like, this guy's got nothing to contribute. He's not any deep thinker or seem like he cares about, you know, the news. And then what really got him stuck in my consciousness was Devin Tracy videos calling him Brown Fabio and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, putting up pictures from his Instagram. It's like, oh my God, you were trying so hard. So hard, man.
What was Devin Tracy's account? It was something atheist.
Atheism is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Which apparently not so, because nobody sees him anymore.
Well,
No,
that's
they don't.
because he got yeeted of YouTube entirely. So now
He's on what, Uncensored TV?
Yep.
Isn't it? Yeah.
He's over on
Like
Uncensored.
I think Razorfist does some stuff for them too, doesn't he? Some
think so.
content.
And Actual Justice Warrior does as well.
You know, I tried to watch Razorfist stuff. I never got into it the way that people like seem to really, really like him. I thought he was enjoyable to watch, but he wasn't like, oh god, this is amazing.
How do you feel about Dennis Miller, Terry?
He's all right.
There you go. That explains everything right there.
Yeah, you wouldn't really like Razorfist if you aren't a big fan of Dennis Miller.
I didn't really have an opinion on Dennis Miller one way or the other because
No.
when I was growing up, I didn't see his comedy. I saw him in his acting roles.
Mm-hmm.
Like my favorite memory of Dennis Miller is Bordello of Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ending of that movie is like, that's the way I want to go, between a woman's legs.
See, for me, Dennis
living the
Miller,
dream, Dennis. You're
And
living the dream.
and that's Allie Mae's legs too.
No.
Dennis Miller is always associated in my mind with two things: I'm an asshole, and we have no heads.
I think you're thinking of I'm an
Dennis
asshole.
Leary.
Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
My way of stealing from Louis C.K.
Yeah,
But
I
my
am
one
mixing
thing
up
for
those two. That explains it.
my one thing for Dennis Miller is that The Simpsons made fun of him by saying only one person in a million would find that funny. Yes, we call it the Dennis Miller ratio.
But yeah, like I have three distinct memories of Dennis Miller. It's Bordello of Blood. Is it Murder at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue or whatever?
Yep. Murder at 1600.
Murder at 1600. And I remember them announcing that he was going to be joining Monday Night Football. I was like, why the fuck do they have him on Monday Night Football?
It's the only time I ever thought, like, I don't think Monday Night Football needs that kind of, like, I know he likes to use the big words. Most people who watch the NFL don't like to hear big words. So, yeah, it's...
But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like with Hassan, it's like he's so mediocre. He doesn't put any effort in whatsoever, and yet people throw money at that dude. And
Especially,
I can't for the life of me figure out why.
What was the one channel that he got into the shit with it about his reaction content effectively?
Oh,
Because
well, the original creator was a guy named JXE.
Yes. That's
And then EFAP covered like his response to the whole thing, and they've made a couple of, I think, one or two live streams and I think a standalone video that they cut out from.
Yep.
And
for those who aren't aware of what happened in this case, so during one of his streams, Hassan put up this video by JXE, and then he went to the bathroom.
was it to the bathroom or because I keep hearing the joke about chicken nuggies?
Well, the thing is that he said that he was going to the bathroom. Then he disappeared for like 90% of the video.
The entire video. He came back just in time for like the shill at the
He
end.
came back for like maybe a minute at the very end, and then right before the shill, he went, nope, cut it off, so that they didn't even hear the channel name. And then when people went, what the fuck? What the hell are you doing? No, that's fucked up. His response was, well, I had to eat. I would die if I didn't eat. And my mom wasn't there to make the chicken nuggets for me to eat. So I had to get up and make the chicken nuggets.
Oh, God.
Good
Well,
God.
in the first video, he said that he had to use the bathroom. So he had to use the bathroom, make chicken nuggets because his mom wasn't there. And because of that, he played someone else's video, made absolutely no commentary on it. And
Makes me wonder if he waited for her to get back so she could wipe.
Yep.
Well, I guess my biggest question now that he's got a $2.7 million house is,
Does it have enough space for mom?
Well, no, I mean, like, because like, he was living, like, him and his mom were living together or whatever, and I don't know if it was him living at her house or her living at his. Don't know how it really broke down. It was like, all right, well, if you just bought a $2.7 million house, you know, sure, you could ask, like, does it have room for your mom? Or you could be like, that house you were living in, does she get that now? Or, like, does she got to come schlep all her stuff over to your new house?
No, she has to come with. Otherwise, he'll have to get up and not put any commentary on a video more often because she won't be there to make his chicken nuggets.
Again, it's for me. It's the mind-boggling thing for me is the sheer mediocrity and lack of effort on his part, and how there are so many people willing to throw money at him like it's going out of fucking style.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I can't even get enough money scrounged together for a pack of cigarettes, man.
I wonder how much he's just writing on his uncle's name, though.
I don't think he's been doing that for a while. I don't think he's, you know, I think he got, you know, however many thousands of Twitch subs because he's Jink's nephew.
Well, the thing is that he started his career really leaning on his Jink's nephew. That's how he got the job in the first place. That's how his name got out there. And then he's been trying to separate himself from that for the longest time. So he gets really pissed off when people bring up the fact that, yeah, he was a complete nepotism hire. He was Jink's nephew, and if he hadn't been Jink's nephew, he would not have become big. So now he's tried to separate himself from that as much as he can, to the point where he'll go after TYT every so often as kind of a, see, if it was really important that I was his nephew, then I wouldn't be attacking, because that would be retarded. That would be going after myself.
So you're saying we should get him for a stream and then introduce him as Shank's nephew?
Yes, absolutely.
only refer to him as such. As
So
well.
Shank's nephew, how's it going?
So what do you think about that, nephew of Chink?
He got, I think it was a Charlie Kirk debate that he was having. And
Oh yeah, and it was Politicon or whatever.
Yep.
I don't remember what was the issues they were arguing about.
It was the standard free
Nothing
speech
that got argued about.
versus effectively PC culture. And during that,
I can just imagine what that discourse sounded like with that brain trust on stage.
during that, Chank's nephew made a big deal about who he was related to, about who I just forgot his name. I said it a second ago.
Jink?
No, the Turning Point guy.
Oh, Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk. He made a big deal about who Charlie Kirk was related to and about how he wouldn't be anywhere if not for his familial relations.
Wait,
And
Hassan
Charlie
made
Kirk-
this about
Yes,
Charlie?
he made that
My
comment
shock.
about Charlie. And Charlie went, "You're Chank's nephew. That's the only reason anyone cares about you." And Hassan got pissed.
Aww.
You know, there are occasions where I wish that I had a camera so people could see the kind of reactions I give. Because right now, I just got my head just cocked to the side like a dog that's just been shown a card trick. That's the point Hassan wanted to make against Charlie Kirk?
Yeah,
So who's
Hassan
Charlie Kirk
made-
related to?
I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, I can't even remember. But apparently his family is not poor. Let's phrase it that way.
Okay.
I mean, is his family like
I think his
Was it,
family is actually like upper middle class.
so we're not
maybe
even talking like
just a
Anderson
bit
Cooper
higher.
being a Vanderbilt or anything like that.
No,
It's just
maybe-
moderately wealthy.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's just that his parents were effectively moderately wealthy. It isn't like how they tried to make a big deal out of Tucker Carlson being one of the potential heirs to the Heinz fortune or anything like that.
His dad is Robert Kirk, who was a project manager for Trump Tower.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So he probably can't even afford a yacht, let alone a yacht to sail him to his bigger yacht.
yeah, but
If you
It was-
put Charlie Kirk into DuckDuckGo, the one we're talking about isn't even the top result. It
Yeah.
says Charlie David Kirk is an English professional footballer.
and Hassan decided to bring up that, well, it was his family that allowed him to become what he was, and Charlie Kirk's response was, "You're Chink's nephew." That's the only reason anyone cares, and he got pissed.
I mean, that was a kind of an own goal by Jenk's nephew there.
Yeah. When you
Well, you got to remember that
someone
English is like a
else's
second
character-
language for him. That's why he got into trouble with the whole America deserved 9/11 shit.
That was so funny. He was
Which
trying to
then
say,
he
no.
doubled
I didn't say America. I said Americans deserved 9/11.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause
that makes it all
better.
Yeah, in his defense of what he said, he just doubled down.
Could we
That's
send
like that-
him to Afghanistan? Like, dude.
That's the whole I don't want to be racist, but racist stuff. Like,
Didn't he also say something about fucking Dan Crenshaw's eye hole or something like that?
Yeah, it was a brave jihadi. Fucked his eye out. Vouch tweeted 4 hours ago. Just found out Hassan Piker's rich. Feeling sick to my stomach right now.
How are you?
I want to believe
Of all
that's honest, but at the same time, it's Twitter, so he could be fucking around. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He could be just shit posting. But if he legit didn't know before now, that would be hilarious.
maybe it's his Java-esque girlfriend behind him.
Well, the question is,
Gross.
does Hassan Piker's net worth come up if you do a wiki search on Hassan Piker? Because that would explain why Bosch didn't know.
I've literally only paid enough attention to this. Like I saw this 30 minutes before we started talking before the stream.
Yeah.
I have not been on Twitter much today, but what I have seen is like, wow, this is really dumb.
Yeah. And I don't get people that keep on getting surprised by this shit. Because like I said, how many times do we hear, oh yeah, so this notable socialist or notable communist just purchased a $2 million home, just purchased their third $2 million home, just used all the money that they got from this organization, like BLM, to purchase their fourth home.
Yeah.
And people are still
Never happens.
going, what? How did that happen? Well, maybe it's because they're bullshitting you, and they've been obviously bullshitting you since the jump.
Stop donating money to these motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean, the first signal should have been goddamn Bernie Sanders, the millionaires and the billionaires. Wait, the billionaires.
Yeah.
And the fact that people still say, well, he's been the most consistent. He changed what he said because he realized his own net worth. There was nothing else that played into that. It was millionaires and billionaires right up until Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. The billionaires.
You gotta write yourself a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as I make millions of dollars writing books, I don't have to pay taxes. Is that what Bernie's saying?
No, but I wonder if it was just positive thinking, because he said the millionaires and the billionaires, then he became a millionaire. Maybe he's thinking, if I only say billionaires, maybe I'll become one of them too.
But yeah, it's.
I mean, as long as it took for him to become a millionaire, he'll be dust before he becomes a billionaire.
That just reminds me of something else that drives me crazy. I don't understand people that are really concerned about the filthy stinking rich that enter politics and just stay filthy stinking rich. When we have motherfuckers that enter politics, not filthy stinking rich, but become filthy stinking rich.
Yeah, didn't the Obamas talk about how they didn't pay off law school, like their student loans until he was in office as president? Yep. And then not even 10 years later, like they're buying a place on Martha's Vineyard.
Yep, and they had this massive birthday party during all the pandemic restrictions, completely ignoring all of the policies for those, despite them saying, well, we're taking the pandemic seriously, and shame on anyone else that doesn't wear masks. Come to our party that has hundreds of people at this location, all without masks, all in an enclosed structure. All
No, but Sanguine, they were sophisticated people.
Yeah,
As
they
long as you're
definitely earned to get out of
sophisticated-
COVID-free day.
As long as you're a sophisticated individual or you're protesting in support of BLM, COVID won't touch you. We've learned this over the past year and a half. Sanguine?
Or unless you're burning down a building in Oregon.
Yeah, and then from what I saw, I need to confirm this, but I saw a number of people mention that there has actually been a track of, hey, how many people that went to that party have tested positive recently? It was
Well, I
something
didn't-
like 36.
I didn't even see anything about people that went to the party being testing positive. I saw like people in Martha's Vineyard. You know, it was I think up to 50 something cases.
Yeah.
I thought 70. I don't know why it's like 70, 74-ish in my head, but I might be making something up.
Well, I didn't keep too close a track of it. Like I heard 50 a while ago, so it could have easily gone up since then.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't get the people that continue to be surprised when an obvious snake oil salesman sold them snake oil and then buys something with the money.
Well, I think it's funny. Is like, remember last year? Because I think they also had Sturgis here recently, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Remember last year when Sturgis happened? They were talking about how it was going to be a super spreader event, and then when they did all the tracing, they found like 90 some odd cases.
Mhm.
You know, like 500,000 people showed up for this multi-day event, and they had like 90 cases.
Yep.
Obama has like 700 for one day, and you've already got almost as many on Martha's Vineyard. So,
Well, if Martha was a white lady, then it's all well deserved.
but I mean, since we're talking like politics and politicians, did you guys see about the bomb threat at the Capitol today?
I heard a little bit about that. Didn't see the details. Do you have information on it?
Well, the only reason why I bring it up is because Representative Mo Brooks is trending because of his response to the bomb threat at the Capitol. He had a tweet that says, "My statement on the Capitol bomb threat. I'm aware of the Capitol bomb threat. I'm monitoring the situation. I'm in Alabama. My Washington staff is accounted for and safe. I pray for the safety of Capitol Police and first responders on the scene in Washington. Sadly, violence and threats of violence targeting America's political institutions are far too common. Although this terrorist motivation is not yet publicly known, and generally speaking, I understand citizenry anger directed at dictatorial socialism and its threat to liberty, freedom, and the very fabric of American society.
So
The way to stop socialism's march is for patriotic Americans to fight back in the 2022 and 2024 elections. I strongly encourage patriotic Americans to do exactly that, more so than ever before. Bluntly stated, America's future is at risk." Apparently, he's getting flack for his statement about this. I guess because of the end there, like trying to get people to go vote.
Well, the reason is because he stated dictatorial socialism, which, not wrong, but you can't say it because it's not the right sort of people that you're talking against when you say that.
It was never really tried.
Yeah. It was never really tried. This is one thing that pisses me off about that argument every single time. Find me a communist or socialist nation that was not massively supported and had article after article after goddamn article, journal, books, all this shit, writing about how it is the utopia realized and it is the model that everyone should follow, right up until the point where the House of Cards fell and then suddenly becomes, nope, that was never real socialism. Why is it that 4 years before that, you weren't decrying it as not real socialism and that being a dictatorial, fucked up regime? No, it was only after it fell that you suddenly realized, oh yeah, not real socialism.
My response is just, well, real Nazism hasn't been tried. I mean, should we give that another go? Like, Hitler fucked it up. we do Nazism right, it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's a retarded argument, no matter how you cut it. It does not work as an argument against something. It does not work as a deflection, because if you're a communist or a socialist, that means that you want to get rid of capitalism. Real capitalism hasn't been tried yet.
Yeah.
Those problems that you're pointing to in the current capitalist system, yeah, that isn't real capitalism. And in fact, those problems are caused by deviation from capitalism. And when we got closer to capitalism, we had a better situation than when you get closer to socialism or closer to communism, because shit gets really fucked up when you go too close to those. So, do you really want to play the it's not been tried, it's not the real version game? And also, when you have a fucked up nation that is not truly democratic, most people that are in favor of democracies and republics will go, yeah, that's not a real version. You can tell because the president is dictating how everyone votes. And there's only one person on the ballot. That's not a real democracy. That's not a real republic.
I think the no true Scotsman fallacy should be renamed to the no true communist fallacy.
Yep.
Because I hear that one far more often than fake Scotsman being bandied about.
Yeah.
So apparently the guy who made the bomb threats was from Charlotte, North Carolina. And he was a couple of blocks, I guess, from the Library of Congress. Not seeing a whole lot on Twitter about him. I mean, I haven't clicked on any of the media reports yet. But usually something like this, you know, I saw more about the dude's, the representative's response than I did this today.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, they say he made threats. Like, well, did he have a bomb? Yes or no? Like, I could see a ton of people making threats. I want to know, did he actually have an explosive device?
And, well, that is important to know. There is also the terroristic threats charge that can be issued. So,
yeah,
just issuing the threats can be enough depending on the situation and depending on the context, because not every time someone says, so help me, I'm just going to blow this place to the ground, is an actual terroristic threat.
Did you guys see the Trevor Moore sketch where he's saying, this is the one place you can't say? He's like, you can never say, I want to blow up the White House.
No. I want to kill the president of the United States. Extremely illegal. Can't say that. Now, I could say that just now because I was telling you that you can't say that.
Yeah.
Oh, God, man. Why you got to remind me about Trevor Moore, Terry? Damn you.
Because he's hilarious.
Hilarious.
His comedy is still hilarious, even if he is no longer with us to provide more.
What's not illegal to say is that we have a group that meets every Friday on the Brooklyn Bridge. The password is 6 Semper Tyrannis. Oh, God. I have to go back and watch that again, too. There's too many good ones from that show. I love the Office Sniper one. That's probably one of my favorites.
That is great. I also like Opposite Day. That cracked me up.
Oh, yeah. In the courtroom.
Yeah. The judge is saying, it is not Opposite Day. He goes, and then he's nodding his head going, that's right. It's not Opposite Day.
Nice.
What was that one from?
With the judge and the prosecutor because they say the same thing at the same time. He goes, you can't talk until I say your name.
Well, there was that one from like the first season. I think it's one of the few ones where they have like an actual woman in the skit. But it's like Trevor and his wife or whatever, and they're really excited because they're trying to get pregnant and everything. And she's like going to look at the test. She's like, I don't know what this means. And she hands it to him. He's like, that's my iPod Shuffle. You pissed on my iPod Shuffle, you dumb bitch. And he just walks off.
Nice.
I really need to start. I really need to watch those.
Yeah. Did you? He had a song, "Get a New Daddy."
Oh,
where he's singing about pretending that your father molested
framing your
people.
dad for molestation so you can get a new dad who will let you do the stuff you want to do. Like they go through like two different verses of that, and he's like, and then like the third verse is like, if that doesn't work, you can get a new mommy, get a new mommy. Just rinse, lather, repeat, kids.
Yeah.
Eventually, you'll get what you want.
That was really it was funny because the day before he died, I'd actually been thinking I've got to check out more of his stuff. So I went to like the top 25 whitest kids sketches, watched them all, and then the next day he dies. It's like, oh shit, did I do that?
What I was really hoping you were going to say is, man, I really need to catch up with what he's been or what he's done, and you started trying to do that, and then he died, and that just became easier. Okay.
Well, that was when it was after the band No Use for a Name broke up. Tony Sly, the lead singer, he started doing like solo music, and I heard one of his albums, and I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to see this guy, and I flipped through his thing, and I'm like, oh, he died. Oh, that sucks.
But yeah,
Well,
what Sanguine was saying actually did happen with me and Lane Staley, because I found Alice in Chains long after he died, but I didn't know he was dead. So I was like, man, this band is awesome. I'm going to check out this Lane Staley. Oh, okay.
I remember like a couple years back, he had that album come out. Was High in Church. Trevor Moore. He had that song with What About Mouthwash? I have literally seen people do that. They get to the convenience store I was working too late, and they're like, "Oh man, I want to buy some beers." Like, yeah, sorry, can't sell it to you. What about this mouthwash over here? It's like, you sir have a problem. I mean, I can sell that to you, yeah, but seek help.
But on the bright side, their breath is minty fresh.
Always a plus.
Plus, it'll taste better when they vomit it out too.
Who you kidding? They ain't tasting nothing at that point.
Yeah. Those taste buds are
one
fried.
advantage is that, when they vomit it out, they won't have to spit anything out in order to make sure that their mouth is fresh again. No, it's just, oh.
Oh man, there's gonna still be that aftertaste of bile. You're gonna have to rinse something.
It depends. How strong is the mouthwash versus how much bile's included? There has to be a certain break-even point where it just kind of balances.
Well,
Plus,
not only that.
How soon are you vomiting after you drink?
Yeah.
Well, not only that, they're likely doing it on empty stomachs too. So,
Well, before I quit drinking, I used to do my tribe proud, Johnny. It would be hours after I started drinking that I would puke.
that's adorable.
You know what I never did as a drunk? Start a fight.
I nearly started a riot at a house party, but I never started a fight. No.
I never started a fight, but I did finish a few.
Well, I should say I never started a fight between me and anyone else. I started other people's fights.
Oh, you're one of those shit-starting instigators. Okay.
Oh no, I just happened to make things worse for other people.
Excuse me, dear. I'm trying to get to the fridge. You know that guy over there said you're really fat, by the way?
The real question is not how long after did they start vomiting? It's when did they stop before they started vomiting? Because if they're still going strong right before they start vomiting, it's still going to be minty fresh on the way up. Now, it takes a while for it to hit, and they really just pounded back like 4 bottles of mouthwash.
I used to be able to get a full 30-pack before I'd finally, start calling the dinosaurs.
Listen up, Listerine.
Yeah, see, I thankfully, due to my size and just my absolutely goddamn monstrous tolerance, cannot get drunk off of just beer.
Cynic's got one over there.
Let's see. That's not a problem. Nice. Yeah. When you start trying to down hand sanitizer, that's a big issue. Also, when you start being so hard up for a drink and you start thinking, well, technically,
Rubbing alcohol is
toner's an
alcohol.
Oh, no, I was doing toner's technically an alcohol.
That's the kind of shit that make you go blind, though, isn't it?
Toner will kill you stone dead unless one thing is in your system. Anyone happen to know what that one thing is?
A lack of toner.
I have no clue what's going on.
I think I saw this in an episode of House once.
Do you remember what it was?
It was not Wegner's. I'm willing to bet that.
I'm drawing a blank.
It was lupus.
So
It's always
it's never
lupus.
lupus.
It's always lupus. You know it.
It's never lupus. It's never Wegner's.
So if you're talking about toner, and I believe that is...
Oh, yeah!
methanol.
I do remember that episode now.
If you've consumed methanol by accident or on purpose and then regret it, pound some proper alcohol.
Yeah. The prisoner, he was using that toner,
The
and
Evo
House did a
Vision.
shot with him.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
If you drink standard alcohol, the sort that you are supposed to be able to imbibe, that will allow you to survive drinking toner. Because the ethanol, which is sort that you're supposed to get, if I remember correctly, I've always confused two alcohols, and I can't remember if it's ethanol that I've mixed up with something else. But I think it's ethanol. If you drink ethanol with, I believe it's methanol, is the one that's in toner. Methanol will kill you. Ethanol causes your body to be able to process the methanol because it kind of gets partway through processing the ethanol and goes, that's similar enough. Fuck it, slack that shit through as well. And your body actually is able to break it down, and what it doesn't break down, it just kind of fast tracks out of the body.
I still think not eating toner is a better decision. Just don't do anything like that. Just avoid the toner.
Ethanol is the good one.
That's what I thought I remembered. Like I said, I always confuse, I think it's
Meth is bad.
methanol and what's the other one that I confuse? I think it's the 2 and 4 that I confuse. So it isn't propanol. Propanol's 3, and methanol's 1, ethanol's 2, and then 4. I can't remember off the top of my head. But
Okay, that's. Sorry, I had the scroll on the Twitters again. Did you guys know?
Turned you into a black woman.
So apparently, if you are one of the thousands of Americans trying to get out of Afghanistan, you're going to sign a promissory loan agreement to repay your repatriation flight. They're not free.
That is fucked.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, wait, what? Huh? Oh, man. You'll sign just about anything to get out of Afghanistan, I would imagine.
Did that just happen that they decided that?
Apparently, I just saw this while I was scrolling. State Department's Overseas Security Advisory Council said on August 14th, repatriation flights are not free and passengers will be required to sign a promissory loan agreement and may not be eligible to renew their U.S. passport until the loan is repaid. Cost may be $2,000 or more per person.
That is fucked.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, I would sign away my firstborn child to get out of Afghanistan. I don't even have kids.
I'd sell someone else's firstborn child.
I would totally sell one of Johnny's kids to get out of Afghanistan.
Hey, if I'm in there, mine are going first. So
Well, the bright side is if you are just selling anyone's firstborn child, you're probably able to get a fairly good deal while in Afghanistan for that.
So, but yeah, I saw that. I was like, holy shit, man. That's just one more thing on top of the pile for Afghanistan to make it even more of a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
So, Johnny, you thinking that over-under is gonna hold up? Because it's only been, I mean, we haven't even made it a full week yet.
yeah. Do you think it's gonna make till next week?
I don't know. For those in chat, Johnny and I had a conversation when all this stuff with Afghanistan started breaking sideways. And I'm curious what you guys think. Because I asked Johnny, over-under, will Afghanistan and the outrage online, will it last longer than the Brandy Love TPUSA controversy? Because I figured that one lasted about, I don't know, 2 weeks or so. People talking about it regularly. Now the only person I ever see talking about it is Brandy Love, which, you know, hey, she's trying to make some money. Good for her. But I'm wondering.
Wasn't that Matt Gates that was doing that too? Or what's who was bitching about Brandy Love being there?
Matt Walsh.
Matt Walsh. Okay.
And it was
Matt
also
Gates has no
roaming.
problem with sex workers.
Well, clearly.
It was also roaming that was causing
Yeah, her
fair bit
too.
of the stink.
But I don't know. I see this. I don't know if I see this lasting, another week and change.
Okay, the non-cute one.
It'll absolutely not last anywhere near as long as the January 6th.
But you think it'll still last longer than the Brandy Love deal?
It might last longer than the Brandy Love. It will not last longer than January 6th because it is not as politically expedient for the right sorts for it to last longer.
It's not Trumpy enough.
Exactly.
But at least we don't have to
This
deal
is
with any
their
more
guys'
mean
fuck up.
tweets.
True.
Yeah, no mean tweets, but the falling value of the dollar, a pull-out that goddamn even high schoolers have better pull-out games than this, a complete abandonment of people that were on our side so that or the next incident that the U.S. gets into, we won't be able to find people on the ground that are willing to work with us because they'll go, we saw what fucking happened last time.
But
You
Sanguine.
left. You just left them for dead.
But Sanguine. No more mean tweets.
Yeah, I prefer having a strong dollar, a series of allies that can actually trust us, people that are willing to work with us because they know that if they work with us, we take care of them.
A
The
gas
same with
tank
the
that doesn't
Nazi
take my
concern.
paycheck to fill.
Yep. Having my grocery bill not continuously climb every week.
Oh, speaking of Johnny, I finally tracked down that dude that can help me get my job back.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Had to find him like in a whole different state.
Oh nice.
Yeah. Had to track this dude down to be like an alibi witness so I can get this job back at a company I got put on the non-rehirable list for
Like 4 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah.
So when will the bounty hunters come back and let you know?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, do I really want to go work back at this place, or I don't know, maybe just become a bounty hunter?
I'm pretty sure if you had to track someone across several states, you now have an in with bounty hunters. You now have a way of getting.
Oh no, man, it's easy enough with the internet, dude. He was on Facebook.
Ah.
You know, it's 6 degrees of separation. Just started looking through all the people that he and I might know in common and whittled it down. But yeah, like he remembered the situation just as clearly as I did. It's like I got fired because I had to go drive to pick up my mother from emergency surgery out of state.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else in my family could do it. And I didn't find out until the day before I had to go pick her up. I had to work the night shift that night. Couldn't get a hold of my boss, system managers, none of that. So I get off work at 6 a.m., immediately start driving, to the next state over to go pick her up. Got to wait for doctors and everything to check her out, get her cleared, all the paperwork, get her something to eat, drive back home. I don't get home until about 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm supposed to be back at work at 10. I was like, yeah, I want to go to sleep. And if I do that, I'm not waking up. So called in, about 4 or 5 hours before my shift, made sure that shift was covered, and I go crash out. Wake up the next night, get ready, go to work. The dude that I called the day before, he's standing there with another guy. It's like, yeah, you're not supposed to be at work tonight. Why not? It's like, yeah, that's the thing. You're kind of fired.
Oh god.
Mind you, these two are cashiers just like me. Neither one of them's management. I was like, says who? They're like, well, I can show you the schedules. Like, yeah, one of you assholes could have crossed my name out on the schedule. Like, I haven't heard anything about it. So I freaked one of them out because I actually stayed and worked my shift.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the whole night he's like, dude, you're not even supposed to be here. You should leave. Go. Get out of here. I don't want you here. It's like, I don't care what you want.
Flee for the hills.
Yeah, had to wait until like
Be free.
I call in Sunday night. I have to wait until Tuesday morning to hear it from my boss's face that, yeah, you're fired. And she's gone on to be, demoted from her job as a store manager, quit the place, and now she's in prison.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like,
Was it for anything exciting?
She was trying to smuggle drugs into a prison.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would explain it.
Yeah.
Well, I am slightly surprised that she actually got arrested. Wait, no. Other states actually do still charge people for that when they're women.
So yeah, she's up the river now, and like everyone's in my area. There's not a lot of places that are hiring that I would be qualified to work at. A lot of it's medical, truck driving, stuff like that. I don't have a Class A CDL or I don't have any medical qualifications. So I feel like, I'll just see if I can go back there. They're having a problem keeping people. And yeah, I found out I was on the non-rehirable list. I was like, well, what do I got to do to get off of that list? Because obviously she was a shithead. I laid it out for the district manager and everything. It's like, you do know who put me on that list, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Gave her the full story. Like, wow, really? Oh, okay.
Though I will say, if you ever decide that you want to get into EMS, it is fairly easy getting into EMS. Though the pay is absolute shit in most places.
Yeah.
I'm talking like when I started as an EMT in the Northern Virginia, DC area, I was making $11 an hour.
I'm a decent sized fella, but like the EMS dudes I've seen in my area are huge, and I'm not talking like jacked either, just big guys. Because guess what? A lot of people that require EMS services around here, bunch of big fat fatties.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely helpful if you're fairly good size, because berry calls are a pain in the ass if you aren't. I was effectively for a while at one of the companies I worked for, damn near the designated lift assist. So if a crew went out and they looked at their patient and they went, fuck no, I'd be the person sent out to go, okay, let's move this person.
yeah, I'd be the guy calling you saying, fuck no.
Yeah. So I had to do weird shit like my heaviest solo lift was a 600-pound patient.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm not going to end up on a stretcher trying to lift a stretcher. Sorry.
I had a solo lift of a 600-pound patient that I did once. I had the heaviest patient that I ever had to transport. I was one of the lift assists for this. Was someone who was over 800 pounds.
How? How do you get to
Goddamn.
800 pounds?
They ate themselves until they couldn't walk, and then someone continued to feed them.
Can I just point out the rudeness? Camel said how, and not one of us said hi back.
Nice. So, yeah,
I mean,
There's some smoke
I
back there.
understand, that's the general dynamics of the actual how Sanguine, but I'm questioning like how somebody could have the mentality of, hey, I'm so fat I can't get off the fucking couch. You know what I should do? Eat more.
Here, there's a smoke signal back there. It's letting them know.
And Camel, the situation that you just gave was not even as bad as the situation that it actually was, because this person was so bad they couldn't get out of their hospital bed that they purchased for their home to handle their weight beforehand, and then they broke their hospital bed that they had purchased for their house by being too heavy for it.
That just
They ate themselves to the point where they had to purchase a hospital bed,
I love to eat.
and then
But
they ate themselves to the point where they broke the hospital bed they purchased.
Wow.
I mean, I feel bad enough as it is. I'm maybe 20 pounds overweight. I can't imagine being 600 pounds overweight.
Mm-hmm.
Soon chakja jum jum ba.
I mean, you're 800 pounds. That's 4 of me. Maybe with a little change left over,
To roll with the language that Johnny was just spoofing, I'm pretty sure there's hut eves that are smaller size than some of the patients that I had to transport. I had a patient that I can't give enough to actually give any information about this patient, but I can give the size that they were and then a visual description. So the person, before everything started to happen, was apparently 5'2". They were now bilateral AKAs, above knee amputations. So they had like half their thighs remaining.
So enough thigh to make the rest of his leg.
Everything below that, gone. They had to cut it off due to diabetes. And the person weighed north of 400 pounds.
See, the thing about this I never understood is, don't they get full? Like, even if I wanted to be that size, there's a point where I just really don't want to eat anymore because my stomach is full.
This person, the one that I was just talking about, when I went to move this person, when I first went into the room that they were in, it looked like a human-sized amoeba was trying to eat a hospital bed. That is really the only way I can describe the visual, because it was just everything was spilling everywhere.
Yuck.
They had reached a point where they were kind of that in-between of liquid and solid.
It's bad when the bed gets bed sores.
You could have put this person would literally have matched the shape of any vessel that you put them in, like a fucking liquid.
Yeah, like I mean, I've eaten like a fat ass my entire life, but I've been lucky to have a fairly high metabolism, and a lot of the jobs I carried out when I was younger were high activity, construction and stuff like that. I haven't really gotten too lazy until the past couple of years, and maybe I'm like at 220 right now. I could stand to lose about 20 pounds.
Man, I'm a raging fat ass over here.
Well, it took me until like junior high to break 100 though too. So
I'm built like a Tolkien dwarf, only 6'1".
I guess I get told that I look like I'm 245, 250, and I actually weigh 300.
Yeah, so you're probably built in a similar fashion to me. Perhaps not as... How is that a human dimension when it comes to how insanely broad I am? Because I'm large enough that when I was in high school, I had a knee injury, so I went in to get an MRI. And you know the old school donut MRI machines?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they were feeding me in legs first. And just my arms down by my side, laying down. I was not fat by any stretch of the imagination. I was just tremendously broad from shoulder to shoulder. My knuckles started to hit the outside, so they couldn't feed me all the way into the MRI machine. Thankfully, enough of my leg got in that they were able to go, yeah, we can do the MRI that we need to. If we had to do your shoulder, though, we'd have to send you to the vet.
With me, all my weight is in my gut. So, like, I don't have a fat face. My arms and legs are just normal, but my gut is, like, I wouldn't say huge, but it's significant. And it's just, yeah, I think I look a bit weird because, like, everything about me except my gut is normal size, and then there's just this bulge in my gut. It looks odd.
Yeah, for me, I have massive arms and legs. I mean, shit, my thighs, they're solid muscle. They're 30-inch circumference. I have thighs as big as a good number of guys' waists.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, my waist is like a 34. Shit.
Yeah. I have 30-inch circumference thighs. Again, my legs are solid goddamn muscle. And I have, if I remember correctly, I'd need to find the measuring tape to see if I've gone up or slightly down. But last time I measured my biceps, I had 22, 23-inch biceps. So, big fucking build.
Yes.
And heavily muscled arms, heavily muscled legs, and then I have the gut as well. So, like I said, easiest way to describe me is a 6'1" Tolkien dwarf.
Well, I just want to say something about something in chat. Jen says, my brother thinks 3 medium meat lovers is vegetables because the sauce has tomatoes in it.
That's a
Like,
scientific fact.
First of all, no. Tomatoes are not a vegetable; they're a fruit, and they're the only acceptable fruit that you can put on a pizza. That's
They're
fact.
only considered
Lies.
a fruit by the federal government import laws. They are
So
not
they can charge taxes
actually...
on them.
Yes, it was a taxation issue. They are legally considered a vegetable in the tax code, though they are actually a fruit.
Yes.
I'm just trying to make a case for the exclusion of pineapple
No,
on
yeah,
pizza.
no.
I mean,
There should
couldn't
never
agree
be
more.
no pineapple on pizza. Ever.
I will die on this hill.
tomato
You
is
guys
the
are
only
all
acceptable
Yes,
fruit.
you will, Johnny. You will die horribly on that hill. I will see
You'll-
to it.
He'll die alone and hungry on that hill.
Indeed, he will.
I'll have my stash of pineapple. Fuck off.
Choke on it.
I'm not saying pineapple's bad. I just don't want it on pizza. I can appreciate the people who say savory and sweet. Yeah, okay. There's plenty of stuff I like that. Like the chocolate covered pretzels and whatnot. I do like the salty and sweet combinations, but just no, dude. On pizza, it just doesn't. It never works for me. It never works.
You're going to die on that hill, and you have plenty of pineapple. You're going to die of diabetes then? Is that what we're to assume with that?
Probably, what the hell's that fluid that's in pineapple?
Oh, the
Pineapple juice?
it
No,
is
There's a chemical that's in.
papain. Papain is
Um,
the protease that you're talking about.
Well, no, it's like is it boric acid?
Well, the main thing is the main enzyme that produces that effect is categorized as a papain, because papaya, pineapples, and like 2 or 3 other fruits have it. It is a protease, which proteases, anytime that you see ace at the end of something in biology, when you're talking chemicals, it is an enzyme that breaks down the first part. So a protease breaks down protein. So when you eat too much pineapple in one go, it starts breaking down the proteins of your mouth.
Yeah.
I get canker sores whenever I eat too much.
Yep. And that's the reason why if you make a marinade and you have pineapple juice in that marinade, never marinate in that for longer than like maybe 4 hours on the outside.
And
Do
you want
not-
to put that on my blessed pizza, Johnny? You monster.
Yeah,
not
I
do-
agree.
You know,
Do
there's a
not do
reason it's hell. Okay, there's a reason.
Do not do a full 24-hour marinade. You'll end up with chunks of your meat having been dissolved by your marinade.
Speaking of hell, I stand by my point that there's only one true purpose for a pineapple, and that is torturing Hitler.
No, pineapple is delicious. You just need to know when to use it and how.
Delicious. Have you seen where it's been?
I'm not saying you eat Hitler's anal pineapple. I'm
Good,
saying
because I don't want to eat Hitler's anal pineapple.
I'm saying that you eat
And I
pineapples.
definitely don't
that
want it on
have
my
not
goddamn
been
pizza.
used. You eat pineapples that have not been used to sodomize Hitler. Because not all pineapples have been used to sodomize Hitler. There are some that have
I'm
yet
not
to be
convinced
used
of
to
this.
sodomize Hitler.
Sanguine. Yet. They haven't been used to sodomize Hitler yet.
That's what I said. Yeah, they haven't yet been used to sodomize Hitler. As
So
long as you get to
it's
them
going to happen.
before,
It's going to happen.
yeah, as
But
long
you-
as you get to them before they've been used to sodomize Hitler, you're perfectly
No,
fine,
no.
and you aren't eating Hitler's anal pineapple.
But
I don't
they're still
trust
going to
it.
be used. No. They're still going to be used for that purpose. Would you rather it happen when the pizza is inside you or not?
No, it's going to be used after it comes out of me.
I'm just going
If
to
you're
not
lucky.
eat them at all.
If you're lucky.
It's going to be like pooping back and forth forever.
the human centipede.
And now I am against pineapple on pizza.
Success! One more has seen the light, ladies and gentlemen.
I was all good until whatever Sanguine was coming up with. You know,
Pooping back and forth forever.
anally probing, just pineapple rape, just like. Gross.
I'm not the origin of the Hitler's anal pineapple.
It was a little Nicky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't remember if it was Little Nicky was the first one to do it, or if didn't South Park also do that joke?
I don't think they did it with the pineapple.
They did it with pretty much everything else.
Okay.
And that wasn't torture. That was pleasure for one of the gay characters.
Oh, was it Mr.
I think
Slave?
Oh, yes.
I think it became that way because gay devil ended up being the one who was really fond of the sodomization of Hitler.
I think South Park
That
did
wasn't Hitler,
Saddam
that was
Hussein more
Saddam
than Hitler,
Hussein.
though.
Yeah.
Oh, was Saddam who had that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he and Satan had a relationship of sorts in South Park.
True. I stand
Hey,
corrected.
guy. What's got you, please, Satan?
I got an idea. Let's have sex.
Okay, listen, I once saw a pizza with mushy peas in it, so
Yeah.
honestly, pineapples ain't that bad.
That
No.
I saw
No.
that abomination, and it whoever created that shell right over there.
I mean, I think we have to have that conversation again, don't we? Like, just because something isn't as bad as something else
Doesn't make
doesn't
it
make that
acceptable.
something good.
And if you're going to put
I think
something,
I think I stopped watching South Park around about the time the movie came out.
Fair enough.
So I haven't seen a lot of South Park.
and if you're going to put something that is stereotypical English pub food on a pizza, don't put mushy peas on the pizza. No. I think perhaps faggots on a pizza might taste fairly good. Don't go the full faggots and mash with the gravy and the mash on the pizza. That would be fucking weird. But just the faggots themselves, yeah. For those
Can I
who
get a
don't know,
spelling check
it
on
is
that?
dish. Oh, it's spelled exactly the same. There is no spelling change.
It's spelled like it sounds.
Yep. But yeah,
And what kind of food is a faggot then?
here, let me pull up a picture of faggots and mash.
Up until now, I had only heard of like cigarettes and sticks. I had no idea this was a food product as well.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Faggots and mash is a very traditional English pub food.
That you
Why
can't
are
mention?
we taking cues from the English when it comes to pizza, for fuck's sake? What? No.
Just be thankful they're not dipping it in their tea.
I won't give the British shit about their teeth, but their food does look atrocious.
It's poison.
And I don't want to hear anything that to say about like Kraft American singles cheese or anything. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just
these
looked
are the
up-
people that put beans on toast and consider that breakfast food. I'm sorry, no.
I just looked it up, and it kind of just looks like meatballs.
He,
And
he went to share
Cynic is-
and we lost him.
Cynic says it's like a rissole. So I'd eat that. That looks nice.
I mean, I've had mountain oysters, so I'd probably give it a try.
Gross.
I mean, they weren't cooked too terribly bad.
I looked it up. There's traditionally faggots are served hot from the oven. So they must be Jewish.
The Jewish faggots.
Well, it was nice knowing you guys.
Yeah, well, what coincidence. It's my first day. Welcome to the last episode.
All right. Let me channel Drunken Uncle here. Spud Gun, name 6 British foods right now that are awesome. Go.
Besides
All right.
faggots.
It says made from pork shoulder and pig's liver.
Go ahead. Defend blood pudding, Spud Gun. I dare you.
Beans on toast. There you go.
No, I don't like baked beans.
I mean, I like baked beans. I like toast. I just don't want baked beans at breakfast, man. That's like a lunch dinner time thing for me.
Yeah, I like most of the like big like traditional English breakfast stuff, but yeah, not the baked beans.
I mean,
Sanguine's going to come back as soon as his film resets.
it depends on the baked beans. Also, maybe at brunch. I mean, yeah, I guess if you're hungover from the night before, yeah, sure, but not at breakfast.
So how against fruit on food are we in this,
On the food.
chat?
At this point, it's really just pineapple on pizza. I'm not terribly against
Fruits
fruit
are for
on food.
fruits.
Well, I do have another set of topics. A barbecue chicken with mandarin oranges. It's actually pretty good. It's actually really good.
I'm not saying it's not. It's just I don't know how I would feel about the contrast of the citrus and the barbecue flavor.
And actually, there was a burger that I made, also with a slice of pineapple, but there was a mango habanero sauce on there, and it actually went really well with it.
Orange duck is a thing. Indeed, it
just,
is.
no,
Yeah.
I want to correct it. Just because the former president's name was Donald does not mean he was a duck.
Doesn't mean he wasn't though.
Okay, so now it's English
Trump
breakfast
can.
without black pudding. Like,
More specifically, a duck à l'orange, or however the fucking French say that shit.
You forgot that part, Della.
No, I just chose to ignore it.
I imagine that every sentence in French ends with
I imagine that's how they breathe.
Okay, sorry
Welcome
about that.
back.
Chrome absolutely shit the bed and just closed entirely on me.
It probably decided that everyone's saying faggot was too much, and they just like,
Yeah.
nope, pulling the plug.
Who are we going to punish for this one?
So let me pull up an image of faggots and mash, and then I'll give a description of what faggots and mash are.
Really
looked
tempting
it up.
fate tonight, guys.
I already looked it up because you dropped, and yeah, it looks like it's pork shoulder and pig liver in a like meatball kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks kind of like meatballs in a typically brown gravy. It's normally onions and mushrooms really reduced down in beef stock and then thickened up, sometimes a little bit of cream, not normally, and then like a splash of red wine or something along those lines to make the sauce the right consistency. So let's see, this one should be faggots and mash. There we go, sharing screen for what a plate of faggots and mash look like.
That's not bad.
Pretty much the same picture when I looked it up.
Yep, and it's a mix of, most traditionally, pig heart, liver, fatty belly / bacon, and then sometimes it's mixed with like pork shoulder or something along those lines. So you
it's
mash.
a pork product. It's a pig product.
Yeah, it's a shit ton of different pig parts mashed together and then formed into effectively meatballs. They can be slightly different shapes here and there, but most often it tends to be meatball shaped.
I mean,
So you're saying-
I'd
go
eat
ahead.
that. I think it looks nice.
Oh yeah, faggots and mash are delicious.
I don't think I could find anywhere that sold them in Australia. But I mean, if I ever went to England, I'd be happy to try them.
Yeah, Pete, I'd rather eat a bundle of sticks.
Well, when you dropped, Terry was explaining what it was. I was like, well, yeah, I'd probably give that a try. I mean, hell, I've had mountain oysters before, and I guess since Della and Terry aren't Americans, they don't know what that is.
If you're talking about the testicles,
Oh, there you go. Okay, so you have heard of those.
And to
From
respond
you.
to what Spud Gun said, corn flour is one of the thickeners that you can use. That is more of a modern one because, of course, corn is native to the New World, not to the Old. So you have cornstarch, potato starch. Both of those are fairly common. You can also use the older method, which is you can make a full-blown roux that's used less often than the quick and dirty version, which is rather than making a full roux, taking the time to do that, you just toss a knob of butter in some flour, roll it round or mash it together, then spoon that in, melt that in, mix it round, cook off the flour, good to go. It thickens up like a dream.
Yeah, speaking of thickening up, I was actually shocked how easy teriyaki sauce was to make.
Yep.
Like, I didn't think it was that easy, and then it's.
Well, you click the button on the online ordering system and they deliver it to you.
So I was scrolling again, and since we're talking about food, I saw something that has a little to do with food. You can pick only 3 pills. I saw this on Twitter. Pill number 1 allows you to master 3 skills. Pill number 2 allows you to eat without consequences. Pill number 3, stop 1 addiction. Pill number 4, change 1 body part. Pill number 5, meet your soulmate. Pill number 6, pet lives as long as you. Number 7, become famous. Number 8, erase 2 memories. Number 9, you can have $500 a day for life. What 3 are you guys picking?
It's eat without consequence is a really dumb idea because providing your body with nutrition is a consequence of eating. So
I think it's
you kind of don't want to skip
negative
that.
consequence.
Yeah, I think they're trying to be like, oh, you won't gain weight. Like,
You won't get fat.
my question is like, well, if I go and like eat a whole bunch of Mexican food, does that mean I won't be gassy afterwards?
Yeah, I would say that it would not make you gassy.
If I eat a lot of rich foods, will I not get the gout?
Exactly. It's
will not
negative consequences.
You will not amalgamate with your bed.
Yes. You will not become that person that looked like an amoeba trying to eat a hospital bed.
Because I mean, for me, that's fairly easy. Which 3 I'd want. But I'm curious what you guys have to say.
Terry, you want to go first, or?
I don't remember them all. I'd like if you can screen share the list so I can actually
well,
read them.
I
then
was
I
going
can
to say
be able
the
to
same
answer.
thing.
I suppose I could do that. I took the time to read them out to you, all professional. Like, my God.
So I wasn't writing them down.
Let's
Come on, man.
This is a pictures group.
I didn't know I was supposed to pay attention.
Like,
I thought this was a free show.
I think, yeah,
Well,
there
you
it
don't
is.
have to pay for it. So
yeah, we didn't read hop on pop for the words.
Okay. Well, I think master 3 skills, because I mean, I'd be better at video games, so that's an easy one. I don't have a pet, so that's not much use to me. I don't want to erase memories or become. I think master 3 skills is the only one I'm actually interested in.
not even the 500 a day.
I've got enough money. I don't need more.
Fair enough.
Like I would notice it, but it wouldn't change my life to have $500 a day because
That's more video games to buy, Terry.
No, but that's the thing is it would just sit in my account. Like at the moment, I can buy whatever video games I want. Having an extra $500 in the bank every day isn't going to change that.
Well,
It's just
I mean,
going
you
to make
could
a bigger number at the bottom of the bank statement.
you could take that $500 that you save up every day. You could take it out of the bank, and you put it on your bed. And you could roll around naked in it, like they do in the movies.
I don't have any interest in doing that.
You could slowly
what's that
accrue a Scrooge McDuck pool.
See, for me, money is a means to an end. As long as I have enough to do the things I want to do, then I don't have like this burning desire to accumulate even more.
And you've never had the desire for a Scrooge McDuck pool?
No,
Is it because you break your neck when you try to dive into it?
that's part of it.
What's the first reply there? Turn my left arm into a right arm, and then turn my right arm into the left arm.
Yeah.
What?
Erase the memory of me turning my right arm into a left arm, and erase the memory of me turning my left arm into a right arm, so that I don't know what happened to my arms.
Wow.
That's a good answer.
That's
That's an
great.
interesting approach to life.
Nah, man, I'm taking the 3 skills, the pets live as long as me, and the 500.
Yeah, let's see, so you've answered, Terry's answered, Johnny, do you want to give yours?
So far 1 and 9, and I'm kind of like,
The wife's gonna be so pissed if you answer 5, Johnny. Just saying.
well, fortunately, she's not listening.
That you know.
Actually, I forgot.
There's a burner account just lurking in the chat right now.
She wanted me to send her the link, and I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea.
No.
It's bad
Yeah.
enough when she stops off and harasses me in my own streams.
Well, I'm wondering, like, if anybody's heard me talk about, wishing I never started smoking. Like, why don't you stop the one addiction? I was like, you think I only have one addiction?
Della, do you have your 3? Della?
3's kind of hard because a lot of these are useless to me. Like most of these are useless to me. Number 2, I already have. Number 3, no, I worked hard to get my addictions. Why would I stop them now? 4, my body's perfect the way it is, and some might argue too perfect. 5, I've met my soulmate and he's an asshole. 6, don't have any of those. 7, who needs that harassment? 8, that's what alcohol's for. 9's actually pretty useful, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take 1 and 2 9s.
I was gonna say,
why not? Why not?
I was gonna say, is like, my addictions make it to where I don't have to erase memories. Johnny, I have had conversations I don't even recall.
Exactly.
I don't need to take a pill for that.
Yeah, especially when our conversation starts. Hey, remember last week?
No.
No.
There was a last week.
Oh, okay. And then here comes the biography of what happened last week.
And I was about to give my answer.
Oh, sorry. I can put it back up. Hold on.
I know 1 and I know 9 are 2 of the ones that I'm going to take. And then I currently don't have a pet, so 6 is pointless. Though if it applies to future pets,
I would imagine it would apply to future pets as well.
then I'd probably take 1, 6, and 9 if it applies to future pets. Because I do want pets, and it would suck to have them die before me.
See, like, I picked that one because I have a ton of animals. A lot of them that I inherited through death.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't want to have to bury them. Even though I know I'm going to have to at some point. It's like, yeah, I'd rather not. Not.
And if I get those, and it becomes possible for the technological singularity to happen, and for full augmentation and extension of life to happen, then I don't have to worry about maintaining my pets because they're just going to continue surviving as long as I become fully augmented and continue my life. See, that's how you think through this.
Got a few folks in chat. Check your logic. He says, I guess 2, 8, and 9. So he's going with the eating without consequences, the 500 a day, and what was that? What was number 8 again?
Pretty sure that joke
erase 2
goes
memories.
7, 8, 9.
Check wants to erase a couple memories. Have you tried Jack Daniels, Check?
It's delicious.
And if not, you could go hang out with his friend Johnny Walker or Jim Beam. I think Jim was in chat earlier, wasn't he?
And
Yeah, he was.
yeah, and after that, you'll probably end up in jail.
And if you really just want an absolute oblivion of memory, you can go drinking with me and try to keep pace.
Guys, I don't think we should be telling a 16-year-old to drink alcohol.
Wait,
That's probably not
is
a
Check
good
16?
In the eyes of Poppy, yes.
Oh, okay.
Because he won't say his age, so she just automatically assumes he's 16. That's the
Fair
joke.
enough.
Frosted, he says 2, 5, and 9. So again, another one who wants to eat without consequences, wants to find a soulmate, and the 500 large a day.
Yeah, the 2 and 5 were also really tempting for me. But the 3 skills was too good, and like I said, if it applies to future pets, I don't want to have to deal with a dog dying.
See, now you guys really got me wondering, like, how old is this dude?
I think he's like Kenneth from 30 Rock. He's eternally old.
Wait, does that mean that he also ate his pig father?
Probably. Okay. Frosted has a very kind offer to those who don't want to bury their pets. He's willing to do it for you. They don't even have to be dead.
The thing is, I don't want to have to. Not that the action itself is the problem. I just don't want them to die in the future. Any hypothetical pet that I have, I do not want it to die.
Yeah, like I've got a whole pack of dogs, and they're all at various ages. So it's just gonna be like the domino effect of like one after the other after the other. It's like
Broken heart syndrome.
Do not want to have to deal with that. So.
Well, I mean, with that many pets, would you rather it all happen at once? Like that?
No, I think he wants him and the pets to die simultaneously. So.
Yeah, I want it to be somebody else's problem. Wait until I'm gone.
If they do die all at once, that suddenly does mean that you save on food.
Yeah.
But it also means that all your pets just die.
Yeah.
But not only do you save food, now you have food.
Yeah, pets die.
Well, I got 4 of those dogs are from my mom, so
Camel
that's
isn't
be rough.
Asian.
Nope. Well, I mean, like I suppose if you wanted to go like far enough back, you could
You're
make the
anthropologically mongoloid, yes.
yeah. I wonder if that's true for the Native Americans, like it is like the rest of Asia. It's like the blood of Genghis Khan flows through my veins.
Nope, that happened far too late.
Well, I mean, if Liz Warren can claim one drop, 10 generations back, surely I can get away with that.
That kind of brings a point. With our previous discussion with a certain young Mexican woman saying that we're not Indian enough to like because we don't like a show.
Have you seen episode 3 yet?
I have not.
I haven't watched it yet either. I'll probably do that tomorrow.
Probably.
But yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, FX Network has a show called Reservation Dogs that is co-created by What's His Nuts that directed Thor Ragnarok and a guy named Sterling Harjo, who is an engine from my neck of the woods. And this show was supposed to be, a half-hour comedy following a bunch of petty criminals who are Indian or native, indigenous, whatever the fuck they call them these days, in eastern Oklahoma. And I'll give them credit. They actually shot locations in eastern Oklahoma.
I thought for a second you said they actually shot the Indians. I was like, wow.
Very different show, that.
It's, that's coming.
That was episode 2. It was paintball. But yeah, it's a caricature of, I guess, native culture, and I just thought it wasn't funny. It doesn't reflect Indians in general. It doesn't reflect Eastern Oklahoma in general, and it's not funny. So it's 3 strikes for me. But we've had some folks on Twitter. That thread finally died down. It only took like a week and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, people were
a half a Brandy Love.
Yeah. 3/4 of a Brandy Love. Yeah.
Directed by Runs with Tarantino.
But it was really funny when that guy, he's like, yeah, it's because you guys are white. And then you told him that you grew up on the reservation, and he's just like, well, that's not what I was talking about.
Well, that's another thing about it, though. Is like it hasn't been a reservation until last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably decided to name it Reservation Dogs because that thing came down like while they were in the process of writing it, or maybe a little after. Definitely before they started like the production. But yeah, what was that? Was that one chick? She says, I mean, they're right. It's based on people and things you can't relate to, so that might be a part of why you hate it. Also, how much you want to bet Mr. Part Native knows anything about Native culture? Laughing my fucking ass off. And when I saw that, because she was responding about somebody else's response further up the thread, I was like, well, let's check out this chick's profile. What's she talking about and whatnot? Since she's Native and everything, and talking about the culture. This bitch was looking online for pueblos to be close to her grandma in Mexico.
Okay.
So yeah, I was just like, define Native culture. Do you really think that my tribe's culture is the same as yours? Same as this other guy's? Same as the show creators? It's like, I admit I don't know much about Mexican natives. What do you know about Oklahoma? Because that's the thing. Like, aside from one movie maybe 10 years ago, I don't see a lot of stuff, that's supposed to be representative of my area. Southeastern Oklahoma, North Texas, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really good movie too. It was called Leaves of Grass. It starred Edward Norton and Tim Blake Nelson. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I tried to come up with something poignant and highbrow to say and retort, and my only comment was, "Yeah, half-breeds take the walk." So yeah, that was my intelligent comment of that thread.
Well, I don't know if we're ever going to sit down and actually do like a full review of that show. I don't know if Johnny would be willing to sit through all of it.
I mean, I'm not,
he tapped out on Flash after like 3 seasons, so
yeah, I made it through the 3rd season and I was done. But I mean, I could do the 3 episodes. That's my minimum.
I like Frost's chat. He says, "Yeah, it has to reflect your culture. That's why no white people like Chappelle's show." Oh, there was something else earlier today.
Richard Pryor, absolutely hated by white people world over.
Oh
right?
yeah.
What was I looking at earlier before they were talking about? Johnny, do you remember what I was before we started this call? Something about representation in media. Oh, diversity from the 90s. That's what it was.
Oh yeah,
because
something words hurt or some shit like that. Representation hurts, or some broad was saying that.
Somebody made a tweet about. Oh, it was about Shang-Chi. That's what it was.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, that guy, the actor that's playing Shang-Chi was talking about how, it allows Asian kids an aspirational and yada yada that they we didn't have when he was growing up. It's like you didn't see Bruce Lee movies, Jet Li movies. You didn't see,
Yeah, this just reminds me of. I can't remember who I heard say this, but they were talking about how people are always saying, well, you need to see someone like you in order to identify with them. And they just went, when I was growing up, 2 of the biggest shows at the time that people would watch damn near the world over were Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Mm-hmm.
And Family Matters.
I still know the theme to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man.
Everyone does.
Who doesn't?
That's just seared in the back of my brain.
If you need to see someone like you, why is it that 2 of the biggest American shows in America, as well as numerous other countries, like Canada, you got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Family Matters, right?
Yeah.
And I think the UK also was able to get access to it. Terry, did you get them?
Yes. I'm in Australia, not the UK, but yes, I did see.
Yeah, you still got the Queen on your money. It still counts.
I was saying that the UK, I think, got them, and then I went to you for Australia. I was not saying that you're from the UK.
Yes, I did watch The Fresh Prince and Family Matters, which apparently I was breaking the rules because I'm not black.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like so in response to that whole Shang-Chi tweet, somebody replied that we've had diverse casting and everything going back to the 90s. It wasn't a big thing when we were growing up, looking at shows like that. And this other chick replied to it was the blonde avocado is the name. And a white lady who's not blonde, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, I remember, that diversity. Talking about how it was mostly tokenism. Like, you've got a whole family of black people on both of these shows. How are they all tokens?
Yeah.
There must have been a lot of secret black people because The Cosby Show was another pretty influential hit.
Yep.
I mean, Family Matters. The dad's a cop. The Cosby Show. The dad is a doctor.
I still love the fan theory that Family Matters is a comedy spin-off
from Die Hard.
Die Hard. Yeah. Carl Winslow.
He moves to Chicago from LA to get away from what happened in the Nakatomi building.
Yep. He has to kind of get away because he helped take out the terrorist at Nakatomi Plaza. He goes into witness protection with his family, ends up moving to that house, finds out that fucking Urkel's living behind him. And now he's having to deal with Urkel, but he's still a police officer.
and to round it out, Fresh Prince. The father figure in that show is a fucking judge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got professionals, you've got people in jobs, of high status or whatnot, a high responsibility in the case of Carl Winslow being a cop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like and they were all capable people too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they had like the bumbling dad like in The Simpsons or Everybody Loves Raymond or King of Queens or anything like that. Like they were all competent, capable people, with complex characters and storylines too.
And they absolutely showed that they cared about each other, which was why people kept on tuning in week after week. Because at no point would you have thought Carl Winslow really doesn't give a shit about his kids. Uncle Phil can't stand his children and Will.
Mm-hmm.
At no point would you think that. Because they obviously cared. They weren't always able to be there. They weren't always able to help out. But they obviously cared. And they gave advice when they could. They were there when they could be. And when something good happened to the people that they cared about, they celebrated with them. When something bad happened, they were there to comfort them.
Well, yeah, like, they say like Cosby with the Cosby Show, he was like America's dad. If that's the case, James Avery was America's uncle when I was a kid.
Because I think the relationship between Will Smith and Uncle Phil was like really, really well done because as antagonistic as they were towards each other, there was always that underlying love for each other. Like if Will was ever really in trouble, Phil was there. And
one of the sorry.
No, I'm done.
I was gonna say, like, one of the most impactful episodes of that show I ever saw was the one where Will meets his dad. You guys remember that one?
Yeah.
It breaks down crying at the end of the episode, right into Uncle Phil's arms. Oh man.
If you did not tear up at least a milliliter.
If you didn't get a little misty watching that, you have no soul.
Yeah. And if that wasn't a beautiful representation of, there's a bunch of different ways that people say it, where
and Keisha's trying to make me cry over here. She's putting the quotes in chat.
Yeah, there's a difference between being someone's biological material donator, effectively, and being someone's actual father. Yes. And that was pretty much that entire episode in a nutshell. That yeah, Will's dad had given the biological material that was needed in order to make him. He was not Will's dad. He was not Will's father. Uncle Phil was Will's father. Uncle Phil was Will's dad.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Frosted wants to correct you, saying when he said, "No, Family Matters is a Die Hard prequel." Remember how in Die Hard he mentions that he shot a kid? That was our.
Oh yeah. Did I do blam? I couldn't fucking take it.
Did I do that, motherfucker?
You just hear 6 shots from a revolver. Just bam, bam, bam.
No. You hear 6 shots from a revolver. You hear the tinkling of brass.
Just hear speed loader getting thrown in there.
Shots.
Oh man, but yeah, like I remember reading that chick's post about how this is all tokenism, and it was actually causing more harm. And that's the part that got me. Is like more harm. It's like, can you imagine trying to say that the Wayans Brothers show was harmful?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine saying that? What did I say? Did I say Family Matters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family Matters. I said Martin.
No, I said Martin.
You said
Yeah.
Martin?
Yeah,
Which
I
one
said
did
Martin.
say that? Oh, I must have said Family Matters. Then.
Yeah. I'm like, imagine that In Living Color caused harm, or trying to make the case that it caused harm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, God, it's just no. Like there was a lot of good shows back then, and they were a lot of them were diverse, diverse as in they were different people, and sometimes they had different skin colors.
Yeah.
But like they were completely different people. It's not like, oh well, we're so diverse. We're a boardroom full of white women.
Yeah, and they didn't try to make every episode were black. It was
like the Fresh Prince. I remember that one where like they're doing like community outreach, and that dude does. He's like, you guys are just gonna go back to Bel Air. We live here, like or the fraternity episode.
Yep, where Carlton wasn't black enough.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another really good episode. Yeah.
And the only other one I remember aside from those two was when they got arrested driving that dude's car.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
And those are the only 3 that come to mind out of how many seasons of Fresh Prince?
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite jokes from the Fresh Prince is just so stupid that it
And that was
makes
Hank
me laugh.
Azaria too.
But like they're talking about how rich they are, and Will says, "If we're so rich, how come we can't afford a roof?" And then the camera pans up, and like you see the studio set.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's those shows. There were a shit ton of them. Because there was, like we already mentioned, the Cosbys, Fresh Prince, Family Matters. Goddamn the Jeffersons, right?
Yeah.
Then Sanford and Sons. There were all kinds of these shows back then.
You know who I saw? Speaking of the old shows back then, I saw JJ from Good Times doing like Social Security commercials.
Mm-hmm.
He even did the line, man. I was sitting there watching it. Like I was talking to my grandmother on the phone. I was like, JJ from Good Times doing like Medicare or whatever. Like, is he gonna say the line? And like she'd already seen it. I was like, is he gonna say the line? And then he did. Like Dynamite. I was like, he said the line. He said the line. Ow.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we used to have all these shows, and they would have a moment every so often where it would be, their race was
Highlighted.
a highlight of that episode because it was the episode where they were dealing with stereotypes, for instance, or you aren't black enough for the fraternity episode and shit like that. And they wouldn't always be it was white people bad and black people good. Because
in that episode, it was another black guy that was the villain.
Yep.
He's the one who's saying, "You're not black enough to be in here." It wasn't the white man is keeping us down. It's other black people need to stop holding us back.
Yep, and that was a central tenet of a lot of those episodes where, yeah, there might be there's the dickhead police officer that they meet.
Yeah.
And Will took that very to heart and ended up kind of being shocked by it. Uncle Phil was shocked by it a little bit, but Uncle Phil went, I know a lot of these guys. They aren't all dickheads. They aren't all racist. They aren't all shitty. This guy was shitty. And he approached it from that manner, and he tried to convince Will of that. And over the course of the episode, he found out that, yeah, there's shitty police officers, but there's also good ones. They aren't all one way or the other. And then, yeah, in the fraternity one, it was another black guy was judging Carlton because Carlton dressed properly, spoke properly, and had a certain bearing about him.
Yeah.
And up to that point, we didn't like Carlton as audience because he was just kind of seemed like an asshole to Will.
He was,
Yeah, he was a snooty rich kid.
Yeah, he was
a
a snobby rich kid. It had nothing to do with him being black.
Mm-hmm.
He was Will's antithesis.
Yeah.
His foil, yes.
Which is a great song by Weird Al, incidentally.
They just really did a fantastic job of not making it black versus white at any point. They always pointed out humanity in each side. And they went, yeah, there's shitty people on all sides. And yeah, there's problems when certain people have stereotypes about black people. But those problems aren't just white people having stereotypes about black people, but also black people having stereotypes about black people.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually gave hopeful messages that shit could improve. Whereas now, a lot of the shows that, oh, they're so diverse, they end up being 90% white people did it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like there's the episode also going back with the protester,
Mm-hmm.
how they used to be pretty, like, I wouldn't say revolutionary like protesters, but they did some pretty,
We still talking about a TV show here?
yeah, it was not Family Matters,
Fresh Prince?
Fresh Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Protesters.
One
Remember the Protesters episode?
One of her friends comes back from town, like they before he became a judge and before she was doing what she was doing.
I know what you're talking about. When like one of the first seasons when Will does the lock-in in his classroom because of Phil and Vivian's friend from back in their college days.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the one we're talking about, like when he's running against George Jefferson to be the judge.
No.
Okay, so I don't remember this episode.
This was before that. This is way before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one
Like-
of the first couple seasons, if I remember.
Yeah, like
Back when Will Smith was still lip syncing everybody's lines.
Back when it was still the first Aunt Viv.
Ah, okay, yeah.
well, the only time that wasn't the first on Viv was the last season.
I could have
No,
sworn
no,
it
no.
switched
There's a
earlier
bit-
than that.
There was about 3 or 4 seasons with the first Vivian, and then about 3 or 4 seasons with the other Vivian.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I could.
Yeah, it was because I remember because I was watching it on Netflix, and as soon as they made the switch, is when I stopped watching.
Ah.
And there were still like 3 seasons that I didn't watch.
Yeah, it was back when like Phil had the color jacket while all the other kids had the blue.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let's
It's,
see. When was the exact swap? Yeah, it was after season 3.
Yeah, there you go.
It's because she wanted more money, right?
Yes.
Let me
remember.
pull up an article.
Apparently, she was quite envious of Will because she was like, "Who is this like nobody, and why is he the star of the show and making more money than me? So yeah, she was not happy, and she wanted more money, and they said, we can replace you a lot easier than we can replace Will. Piss off.
Yeah,
I
apparently
always
they
think
had
it's
a
funny. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
apparently they had a heart-to-heart on the reunion thing that happened recently. It was the first time they talked since they parted ways on the show or something like that, I think. And they got
Oh,
things
yeah, they
sorted
did
out.
do that.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the reunion thing, because like I said,
Neither did I, but I seen headlines and clips, so
I'm sorry, like you can't have a reunion without Uncle Phil, and he's gone. So
That's very true.
unfortunately, yes, he is gone.
I just imagine like Will Smith finding out the news about James Avery's death the same way like he portrayed Muhammad Ali finding out about Malcolm X, just like driving in his car and like somebody on the streets like, oh man, dude, I'm so sorry.
So apparently, at the time that this happened, Will Smith was on a radio show after she had left and said, I can say straight up that the actress's name wanted the show to be the Aunt Viv of Bel Air show because I know she is going to dog me in the press. She has basically gone from $250,000 a year to nothing. She's mad now, but she's been mad all along. She said once, I've been in the business for 10 years, and this snotty-nosed punk comes along and gets a show.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was saying, because I sort of
So she went.
that.
She went like full on Ben Affleck and Jersey Girl. Just started shitting all over Will Smith and lost her job.
Yep.
I wonder how many times I can make a reference to Jersey Girl on streams. I think this is like the second or third time I brought it up.
Oh, you mean the movie that killed George Carlin?
I mean,
Yeah.
But
he died a long time after Jersey Girl.
That was his last movie, though.
Well, he didn't know that he needed to, get fit and healthy and hold out for Bill and Ted 3.
Well, I thought
How dare you?
he would have been like Stephen Hawking if he would have tried to stay for Bill and Ted 3.
The worst movie for killing its cast was Street Fighter. We lost Raul Julia for that.
Yeah, and that was so not worth it. If I could have Raul Julia or a Street Fighter movie, guess which one I'm picking?
Exactly.
I want more Gomez Adams.
Exactly.
And continuing in this story about when she was fired, apparently that was what he said at the time, which he has somewhat recanted since. Let's see. She did a number of articles about, or a number of interviews about it as well, gave her side, and then in 2011, she called him an asshole in an interview and said that there would never be a reunion and she'll never do anything with an asshole like Will Smith.
And then she never did anything again until the reunion.
There you go.
Which was never supposed to happen.
And then during the HBO reunion thing, he sat down and talked, and apparently she was going through a lot of shit that she explained a lot of her behaviors away with. And his response was, oh, it was really tough for you. So to hear that, effectively. So it sounds like it was what he was saying originally, but he's softened his language since, especially after the reunion.
I didn't really pay any attention to the reunion. The only thing I saw was a couple of screenshots from it. And I only wanted to see two things, like, all right, how did they hold up? And it was, Ashley and Hillary. I was like, ooh, Ashley's still looking good. Hillary a little cracked, though. Hillary getting a little cracked.
Yeah.
Did they do anything for James Avery? Like, did they have like an empty seat or a picture of him or something? Or was it just not there?
I'm sure they talked about him,
No,
but
I mean,
So-
of course they talked about him, but
I have no
They-
idea.
They had a picture that was one of his headshots, effectively,
hmm,
that was present. Just looking at the images that are in this article as well.
okay. I'm glad
And-
they did something like that.
Yeah, so there was a representation there of him. It was a headshot, and it looks like a fairly young headshot. So it might have been one of the early headshots that he used to get on the show.
Okay.
Though it might just be how it's looking in that picture. He might have just had a very youthful face even as he got older.
Oh, yeah,
Some-
he was a shredder.
Like they did with Roy Orbison in End of the Line, like the music video for End of the Line. Obviously, Roy Orbison was dead, so
Mhm.
they had like a picture of him in the music video. Like, I think it's just nice to sort of have something that represents them if they can't physically be there like that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
But
so
yeah, we went from talking about a shitty show like Reservation Dogs to good quality television, folks.
Yeah,
and I miss that shit. Good God, do I miss that shit? Because The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is a goddamn classic.
it is.
And like my problem with that Reservation Dogs is like there is potential in the premise.
Mm-hmm.
You got a group of young people who are living in a small town, middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, and they want to get out. They want to go travel west to California. I don't know why they want to go to California, but they think it's going to be better than Eastern Oklahoma. And there's plenty of funny and weird shit that happens in this state. If you don't believe me, Travis Gardner, he posts stories from Oklahoma all the time for MSS News and whatnot. I remember one as a pot dealer who got busted, and his last name was Weed. Thought that was hilarious. I think his name is Brandon Weed. It's just hilarious. Well, what was even funny is like a month later, like his brother and I think girlfriend, somebody else, they got busted for selling drugs too. It's like, with a name like Weed, maybe you should find a different line of work.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you name your daughter Chastity.
Oh, you're asking for that girl to be a whore. Yeah.
Yeah, chances are she's going to be anything but chaste.
You give a daughter a name like Chastity, Faith, Hope, anything hippy dippy like that, she's going to be working a pole as soon as she turns 18.
The only one that seems an exception is if you name a daughter Charity. Charity isn't always working a pole. But yeah, Chastity, she's working a pole with the name Candy, or she might just go as Chastity. Either way.
But like, here in my area, I don't know about you guys, Johnny or Sanguine in your areas, but here we have a newspaper that is dedicated to mugshots. It's called Jailbirds.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was really funny, seeing like people from different areas coming through, and they're like, "You guys have a whole newspaper for that?"
Nice frosting.
There's this one lady, she's like from Massachusetts, the Boston area. She's like, you guys have a whole newspaper for mugshots? Yes, ma'am, we do. Public shaming is alive and well here in the South.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the stories in these newspapers that if your show's premise is dealing with a bunch of petty criminals who are trying to save up money to make their escape in Eastern Oklahoma, there are so many stories in the Jailbirds that would fit perfectly in a half-hour comedy show, to help with that premise. I remember reading about one woman. She got stiffed by her meth dealers, and they said, she's like, "Hey, I gave you the money, give me my drugs," as you do. And she's like, the drug dealer's like, well, what are you gonna do? Call the cops and say that your dope dealer robbed you? And that's exactly what the bitch did. Oh, I'm getting echo.
I think that was just someone's dog in the background.
No, I heard myself talking.
Ah, okay.
No, that was me unmuting and then laughing. So that weird echo whenever I unmute is what happened.
But yeah, that's exactly what she did. She called the cops and told them that her drug dealers ripped them off. They're like, well, where are they located? We'll make sure to go get that taken care of ASAP. You just tell us where they are. We'll go get your money for you. But yeah, there's all kinds of stupid, funny stuff that they could write about Eastern Oklahoma, and still have it, within the context of these 4 native kids trying to make their way.
Mm-hmm.
And
3 native kids and a 28-year-old.
Well, she's playing a kid. So, but yeah, also like they had one deal where they went to IHS, which is Indian Health Services. Now, I don't know about the rest of the state, but like my tribe, that's where I go to get my health care. I don't go to a federally funded IHS hospital or clinic. So as far as I know, that could all be 100% legit. But the way they've written some of these characters, the one that gets me the most is the tribal police officer. It's like, we don't fucking talk like that. He's sitting there talking about like, oh, the white man's bullets. What are you talking about? Sugar. It's the white man's bullets. We don't fucking talk like that, dude. Maybe in the upper plains, closer to Johnny, they may talk like that when they're living on a reservation or something, but not here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone on a reservation talk like that either.
And it seems like they're just putting all these different, all the different tribes together into one pot and saying, this is native culture. It's like, yeah, except for the fact that we don't talk or act like that. No, what? No. Some tribes do, Okay, sure, but that's very few, and they seem to get an outsized amount of attention, like the fucking Navajo, or the Lakota, or the Sioux.
The closest I've ever heard anyone from a TV show talk like in real life native is Jacob Longhorse from Longmire.
Is that Lou Diamond Phillips, or
no? That's
or is that the actor's name?
It's the character's name.
Okay,
I don't remember the actor's name.
Yeah, the problem is that when they try to make shows like that now, when they try to have, oh yeah, we're going to have a cast that's entirely X group, they don't ever just have the people be characters, like proper fucking characters that are fleshed out. They always just dial up to the nth degree whatever stereotype they decide to have that character be. And then they'll say, no, this show isn't about stereotypes, really, because every single fucking character is a stereotype.
Well, yeah, like they have a spirit warrior who comes to the main characters, to him in his when he's unconscious, when he gets beat up or shot or whatever, like he ends up drifting off to the spirit world to talk to this dude.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit warrior, he says, he fought at Little Bighorn, he saw Custard and he was on his way to go after him, and his horse got his leg caught in a gopher hole and rolled over on him and he died. It's like, all right, why is a kid from Eastern Oklahoma, who's more than likely one of the 5 civilized tribes, gonna be having spirit visions of a dude from Little fucking Bighorn?
Yep.
I mean, they'd be like, like me, I'm Choctaw. I mean, I would imagine if I had a spirit vision or something like that, it would probably be somebody from the Choctaw tribe, like Pushmataha or something like that. I seriously doubt it'd be, some dude from fucking Wounded Knee or Little Bighorn or any of this other shit.
Yeah.
And if it was like that, the first question I'd be asking is like, so why am I talking to you?
Let me teach you on how to make an igloo.
Yeah, it would be like if I were to be communing with my ancestors through some means, because that isn't something that is limited just to natives in lore and legends. And rather than getting someone who's Celtic, Norman, perhaps Norse, or Germanic / Frisian, those would be valid options for me to run into. Welsh, another valid option for me to run into. I ended up getting someone who was a goddamn Southern Spanish dude from the Middle Ages. That wouldn't goddamn work. That wouldn't work at all. I am not at all Spanish. There is no part of my lineage that is Spanish, unless you go for the goddamn Book of Invasions and you consider that Ireland was colonized by the Spanish Celts, which, a bit weird that you're going to the Book of Invasions in order to prove that. Otherwise, makes no sense. It wouldn't make sense to have me meet a Polish person when I'm communing with ancestors. But for some fucking reason, they go, oh yeah, one native, just like every other native. They are all the same culture. No, they aren't.
Well, like I've told this story before. I don't know if I told on
tribes.
I don't know if I told on Minions, but when I worked for my tribe, I was working at a travel plaza. And it was during the whole Keystone XL pipeline when they had the which tribe is that again? So I think that was some of the Lakota, wasn't it?
I think so.
But there's this white lady and her black boyfriend came in the store, and she was this hippy dippy type.
Oh, you did tell me this story.
Yeah, I've told you this story before. I know that, Johnny. But she sits there, starts talking about, we support the Indians and this. I was like, so you've been to the casino? Cool, She's like, no, the protest. Don't you keep up with the protests? I'm like, what protest? She's like, the pipeline. And her boyfriend is an oil field worker, and she's sitting there talking to me like about this. And I was like, you do realize that we're not all one people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm Choctaw. I don't give a shit about them people. I don't know them, And if that pipeline going over their land gets my gas prices cheaper, fuck them.
Yeah, and it's become this massive thing, time and again, where they're trying to make a ethnic group, because they aren't proper races. There's 3 anthropological races. There's not goddamn hundreds of them. There's 3. But the groupings that are most accurate would be the ethnic groups. And even then, they're trying to expand ethnic groups so that they're just shy of what anthropological races are. But they want them to all be unicultures, which makes no fucking sense, because they do this with white people constantly. A Irish man is not the same as a Frenchman. Entirely different cultures. A Slav is not the same as a Welshman. And they tried to do that with black people, because you constantly have this Pan-African bullshit, which has never existed, most likely will never exist, because even the Africans are going, no, wait, you want me to be perfectly fine with my neighboring country? We fucking hate those cunts. You want me to be fine with the tribe that's down? No, I want to kill that tribe. What the fuck are you talking about? And they're trying to do that with native identity. They want it all to be natives. And it isn't the Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Dakota. It isn't anything like that. It is, you're all just Native Americans.
Now, don't get me wrong. I will sell some. I'll sell some dream catchers to some gullible white people, but
Yeah.
you know, that's not, you know, that ain't my culture and heritage. Is that your culture and heritage?
Yeah, it would be like, you can probably find a Mick that is willing to sell traditional French artwork. That doesn't mean that the Mick is really a frog. It means that he's going, oh, you want that? Sure, here, fucking have it. I just knocked it out of my back room. Here you go. It sells. And to answer the question, Spud, the 3 anthropological races are the Caucasoid, Negroid, and Mongoloid.
Black, white, and Asian.
Yep. It's effectively all European groups fall into the Caucasoid, which gets its name from the Caucasus Mountains, which is kind of the dividing line between Europe and Asia. And then you have the Mongoloids, which of course get their name from Mongols. And that is all the, what used to be ages ago known as the Oriental Asians, now sometimes referred to as the Far East Asians. And that would also include natives, so Native Americans, Indians, if you prefer, whichever term. The Mesoamerican groups were all Mongoloid as well. And then you have the Negroid, which of course comes from the word for black in French. And that is the Indian subcontinent, a fair portion of the Middle East. Though the Middle East tends to be a mixture of Negroid and Mongoloid, and then the whole of Africa, African Aboriginals, and those are the main groups. Polynesians are also categorized as Mongoloid. So that's the 3 breakdowns, and those you can tell by the bone structure. So, for instance, eye orbitals. It's been a while since I've tried to call this back. If I remember the eye orbitals correctly, Negroids tend to have fairly squared off eye orbitals, which is used in forensic identification. The Caucasoids tend to have more circular, or rounded, not circular, but rounded. And then the Mongoloid, if I remember correctly, is slightly triangular. Let me quickly double check that. I think that's the right assignment of those, but I might be getting the Mongoloid and Caucasoid backwards. I know that I'm right on the Negroid eye orbit.
And now I'm just waiting to see if Frost is willing to agree to my terms, man. I'm about to close this deal. That's right, man. If you want me to be hawking dream catchers, I need some top shelf product.
Nice.
Well, we are getting to that point.
He's wondering if you will go for Firewater. He hasn't declared. Oh, it is. You want the Pappy Van Winkle. That is a pricey bit of.
Well, yeah, man. If I'm going to take the time to learn how to make dream catchers and shit, I want to be well compensated.
Fair enough.
He says, throw in the island of Manhattan, and you got a deal. Hey, man, if you want to take all those yuppies off my hands, knock yourself out.
Nice.
But yeah, Johnny's trying to get the stream closed. It's almost 1 a.m. here.
Yeah.
Which means it's getting pretty late for him on the mountain time that nobody remembers.
You mean the only time that matters?
Exactly.
I mean, according to Moose, sure, fine.
Whatever you say, Camel.
All I have to say is that when I was growing up, they said, hey, it's going to be at whatever the show time is. It's at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, which means they didn't give a fuck about Mountain, Pacific, or Hawaiian time.
Well, I mean, no one gives a fuck about Hawaiian time, but Mountain Time is the Young Sun time zone. That's all you need to know.
And I just double checked, and I was right. It is that they are almost triangular. It's more trapezoidal. So they end up with a more trapezoidal eye orbital, with the Caucasoids ending up with the most rounded, and then the Negroids being kind of squared off.
Unfortunately, Spud Gun, Johnny has one of those real jobs that he's gonna have to get some sleep for. Now, if it was like slackers like me and Della and Terry, I'm sure we could totally keep it going. But yeah, other people have jobs.
If it was Saturday or Friday night with this stream, then yeah, we could have kept going. But yeah, I got
Unless I'm doing a game stream, I usually stick to an hour on my nights.
I bullshit until the conversation dies.
I have put numerous people to sleep in Discord chat, just not knowing when to shut the fuck up. So
I am trying to not fall asleep.
yeah, I can see the eyes on the cat just slowly going down. Well, I'm awake.
No, actually, that's just me. My cat is actually she's so skittish. She'll walk up and she'll start like rubbing up against your leg, and then you go to pet her, and she runs off like a bitch.
I think you meant your cat avatar.
Well,
Yeah.
Don't say goodnight just yet, Raymond. Like I said, I am notorious for being able to keep people talking well past the point.
Well, we do gotta
let's-
hurry up to get to the point where you show your Knicks review, so...
Yeah.
Shut up, Will.
So parting thoughts, Camel?
Let's see. There are only 10 types of people in the world. Those who know binary and those who don't.
Nice.
Terry?
Let's see. Make sure that Moonshot plays Super Seducer. He's still stubbornly refusing, so if you see him, give him a hard time until he plays it.
Tell him if he plays it, he can have his nipple back.
There you go.
Let's see, and Delahazed?
Yeah, if you're not playing Super Seducer, enjoy that lifetime supply of virginity, bud.
I thought you were going to do the Anna Kasparian there.
Better than you.
I mean, I am, because I've played Super Seducer, but that's kind of obvious, because I've played Super Seducer.
All three of them.
All three. I haven't finished the third one, but I've played it. It's good enough.
If you want to experience what a restraining order feels like without going through all the paperwork, play Super Seducer.
And Sanguine?
I'll leave off with my standard. If you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you.
And I will go, since we were talking about him earlier, with a quote from James Avery. I don't understand this whole Twitter and Facebook stuff. I don't get it. Make a phone call. Talk to someone.
America's uncle, ladies and gentlemen.
Get off your ass and talk to someone. Kind of like we're doing right now.
Ew.
I did not get off my ass for this. I'm not going to
I
lie.
did not either.
Well,
I have been firmly planted on my ass. It is melded with my chair.
Okay, yeah.
See, Johnny's one of those productive types. He's probably got like a standing desk or some shit.
No,
Ew.
not here. I do at work. But,
See, told you.
Fucking gay, bro.
but yeah, yeah. On
I wonder
that,
how many times I
yeah.
can just derail the conversation.
Shut up.
Attaboy.
You might end up with the point where you have
See,
to.
it's not just the intros I'm going for now.
You could also do that.
Have a good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
assholes.
Hey, I muted him for it. Oh, and he drops. Wait,
He
we're still
yeeted
going.
himself. Yep, because he clicked the wrong button. So, okay, he's back to sort it out proper.
This would have been perfect. I would have had everyone to look at.
See, I threw him
Yep.
off because I let him do the intro without fucking up. And I waited. That's how you do it.
Yep.
I hate StreamYards. Fucking StreamYards.
No, it's the big red button.
Yeah, it's the big red button, but it's in the top corner.
It's
not
that
the
it's
bottom.
that
Yeah, you
it's that
need the
X
top
in
button.
the
Yeah, it's the big
right-hand
one,
corner.
not the small one.
It's the
Go
big
for the-
X in the right.
Top
on, Johnny,
in
you
the
can do it.
upper right corner.
I'm just going to
says-
stare while I
Just
And
close out the
three.
tab. Just close out the tab. It'll be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Not the little X at the bottom that says
That-
"Leave Studio."
That's for creeping out at all, Camel. Just stare.
I know what
Yeah,
you're
that's it.
doing. I'm not paying any attention.
That's why I'm telling you I'm doing it. It's giving you the attention.
Like, I can feel you breathing on my shoulder, Johnny. Knock it off.
You're
Tuna
being
breast.
called Boomer by both Cannibalistic Wizard as well as Spudgun.
No, I deserve it. This is not the first time this has happened.
I don't know why we're all being dragged down with Johnny. I'm not the one who boomered this up.
I'm not clicking
Yeah.
any buttons. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You guys are all going down with the ship. That's all.
No, that is not how this works, Mr. Zookeeper, sir.
All right. Yeah, you guys have a good night.
Have a good one, all.